Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we'll be talking about Shedeur Sanders and the other NFL prospects who got prank called. This on another episode of... So coming out of the NFL draft, one of the funnier storylines was that Shedeur Sanders had got prank called while he was waiting for his selections, which took a little longer than we would think. But the prank call incident was very funny. The incident occurred because the Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich's son got a hold of Shedeur Sanders' private number that they provided him for the draft from an unsecured iPad, which, that's just so embarrassing, because you wouldn't think someone like a defensive coordinator for an NFL team would just leave that kind of stuff unsecured where their teenage son could find it. But apparently that's just the Falcons' mentality. So his son got a hold of the number and the prank call happened. Now, it wasn't by his son specifically, but it was apparently given to some other kids his age, and thus the prank call went out. Since the prank call happened, both Jeff Ulbrich and the Falcons themselves have been penalized and fined by the NFL. Obviously, the NFL had to do this because they don't want numbers of the potential draft prospects getting leaked and those players getting prank called when honestly, those players don't deserve that kind of treatment, especially from potential future fans, because the draft is about their future, and trying to rain on it through prank calls is just not okay for anyone to do. But Shedeur Sanders isn't alone in receiving prank calls during this year's draft. In fact, several other prospects received prank calls as well. And unlike Sanders, these prospects, prank callers, did not conveniently provide evidence as to who they were or how they potentially received the number. Now to name a few, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Tyler Warren, and Kyle McCord all received prank calls. But at this time, none of them have revealed necessarily the details of who the prank caller claimed to be or what was said during the prank call. Now, some of the prospects did reveal details about their prank calls, and here's a few of them. Chase Lunt received a prank call from someone who he said was claiming to be with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Josh Connolly Jr. got a prank call from someone claiming to be with the Denver Broncos. And Isaiah Bond got a prank call from someone claiming to be Falcons general manager Terry Fontenot. Now, how these people who did these prank calls got their numbers or conducted the prank calls is completely unknown at this time, mostly because they weren't stupid enough to film themselves doing it and, letting it get out on the internet that they were the ones doing it. Needless to say, the security of draft prospects' phone lines has been shown to be very poor in this year's draft, and the fact that so many prank calls happened, and especially not necessarily first-round prospects. Well, yes, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Tyler Warren, all first-round prospects. Yes, they got prank calls. A lot of prospects on this list were not from the first round. They weren't even from the second or third rounds. So the pranksters out there who got a hold of these numbers and called these people, it's kind of interesting because you wouldn't think that organization like the NFL would have such a lax in security when it comes to the draft process. But I'm sure they'll improve for next year, because nothing is worse for the NFL than getting embarrassed. With that being said, guys, please like, share, subscribe down below. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you next time.